I finished nothing, but I certainly have a lot to talk about. Hey BookTube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. Welcome to my Bookish week for April 17th. I think I got that right. I didn't finish one dang book, but I have a ton to talk about, so I'd like to just get right into it. And it's a bunch of different stuff. It's buddy reads, it's read-alongs, it's currently reading. I've got a small book haul, and I wanted to talk about what's been helping me get all this reading done. So let's jump off into the deep end, shall we? Again, I am yet again another buddy read failure, big time. Now, I was buddy reading The Female Man by Joanna Russ with, matchy, with Britta Bowler. Now, I'm going to link Britta's video below. She posted her Friday reads, and I watched it yesterday. And we had checked in yesterday morning, my time, so I hadn't watched her video till I got home from work. And in the video, she's talking about had been starting this book and reading it slowly so she could understand it. And she actually said that she's too stupid to understand and she's waiting for me to explain it to her. Okay, now, this is a woman who is what? An international human rights attorney, a published author, multiple books, and a professor. I have a handful of degrees, but I'm not sure she's going to be waiting for me to tell her what this book means. Yeah, that'll be yet another failure on my part. Britta. This book is a hot mess, and I bailed. I bailed at page 75, I think. 73, something like that. It's a pretty short book. It's just a little over 200 pages. This is a science fiction book written in 1975 by Joanna Russ. This is kind of hailed as one of the first, if not the first, science fiction feminist fiction. It's a mess, and very quickly there are three main characters to start. Janine is a young woman who lives in a New York where the Depression has not ended yet. Joanna is kind of the narrator / author, and she's most of the narrative in the book comes from her. And then there's Janet, who is a futuristic alternate universe figure from the planet While Away, or the section While Away. And she is what is referred to in the title as a female man. There's a lot of really super interesting passages in the book. There's so much good feminist commentary. There's also some really problematic aspects to it, but it's dated. It's from 1975. So once I get past that, a lot of the commentary is far more understandable. But the formatting of this novel is a mess. And I told Britta yesterday that I would continue to read another 50 pages or so. I got to another 25 pages and I bailed. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm not smart enough to understand this book, and I did not at all enjoy the reading process. I have what I've typically done is I will put little arrows next to certain passages that I would want to talk about. And yeah, that one I put a question mark on because I'm like, what the frig was that? And that's how I kind of know when I want to talk about different sections with my buddy reader. So I've got little arrows everywhere, and I've got a lot of little arrows in this book. But this is a gigantic mess of a novel. And no, I couldn't do it anymore. I hope... I'm looking forward to hearing what Britta does think about this book. She's going to continue, and I'm going to wait to see if she finishes what her thoughts are, because I'm really anxious to hear. That's such a good example of what the fuck did I just read? Okay. I didn't finish anything, but I've got a bunch going on. I just started this book, School Success for Kids with High Functioning Autism. And this is put together by Stephen M. Silverman, PhD, Lauren Kenworthy, PhD, and Rich Weinfeld. I am expecting some new bookcases today, so I was cleaning out the old ones to do some moving around, and I found this in my nonfiction bookcase completely having forgot that I owned it. And so I'm like, oh, this is great, because my youngest daughter has high functioning autism, and she is going to be a high school freshman in September. Oh my God. She's doing great and she's doing really well, but we're looking at different modes of education for her that would best serve her. And she's also highly intelligent and creative. So I started reading this, and this has got some awesome tips and signs in here. So I'm only on page 20, but so far so good. If anybody could use this type of a book as a resource or wants to talk with me about this, please do that. My kid, I have a great kid. I have two great kids, but I have a great kid who's in the other room, and she's going to be transitioning to a different school atmosphere and culture. And we want to get ready for that. And we want to find a program that's best for her. So anybody that wants to have a conversation about this, please let's do that. Let me know. I don't know. I don't remember. Here's my Adam Bede. I don't even know what to say next. Adam Bede is our April George Eliot novel. I'm working on this. I think we're going to be about halfway through. Our check-in is officially tomorrow. But Roz from Scallydandling About the Books has Voxered us some gorgeous pictures of her garden, and she's bragging about reading outside in the sunshine. I had an inch of snow yesterday. It's fortunately fairly sunny today. So we're going to continue with Adam Bede, checking in tomorrow. It's George Eliot. Not going to say anything more. I am buddy reading Barbara Kingsolver's Unsheltered with Heidi from My Reading Life and Noelle the Book Rook, and we are about halfway through this novel as well. It's okay. This is Barbara Kingsolver. It's a dual timeline narrative about a broken down, decrepit, crumbling house. And it is a story of a contemporary family having moved into this house they inherited from an elderly aunt, and it goes back in time every other chapter to a family in the turn of the century who lives on the same street as this decrepit old house. And we're still trying to figure out if there's a connection between the two families. So that's going on. Wolf Hall, another read-along for Cromwell. We are reading this through the middle of May. We're reading one part per week. There's 6 parts in Wolf Hall. And I'm going to be checking in today. So I'm finished with part 2. And we're going to be moving on to part 3. It's sequential, right? Yeah, I can count. So yes, this is what we're reading right now. Now, I still have 2 other books on the go. I've still got Roots by Alex Haley as my March of the Mammoths. I've had so many buddy reads going on for April that there hasn't been a lot of time to pick that up, but I'm still working on it. I am also still working on George Eliot, Voice of a Century. This is a very thick, dense biography, and I am still only there, and I am still about to embark on the chapter of the 2 main squeezes in her life, so I haven't gotten that far yet. Now, before I get to one of the next books that I've been ongoing, that's going to be a segue for a different part of my video. But first I want to show you 2 books that I hauled, not of my own volition, but these books were super graciously sent to me by one of my BookTube besties, Judy Brown. Judy, we all know and love. She is a frequent commenter, buddy reader, read-along contributor. We talk a lot on Voxer. And after I reviewed Pew for the BookTube prize, she said, would you be interested in a book swap? And I said, absolutely. That's not a book that I need to hold on to for any reason. So we did a book trade, and in exchange for Pew, she sent me The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. In hardcover, look at how gorgeous that cover art is. And this is the back. I mean, it's just beautiful. And not really foiled, but it's textured, the font. I mean, look at the end paper. And she sent me a nice little note, which was so cool. I love Judy. She's awesome to talk to, and she's great to read with. She sent me The Mercies. Now, very quickly, on Christmas Eve 1617, the sea around the remote Norwegian island of Vardo is thrown into a reckless storm. As Maren Magnusdottir watches, 40 fishermen, including her father and brother, are lost to the waves. The menfolk wiped out in an instant. And this is a novel about the aftermath of an island with just women on it. Now, along with the Mercies, she sent me a book that we hadn't talked about yet, and she just included it out of her loving nature, and it's gorgeous. It's called The Foundling by Stacey Halls. Look at the foil. Look at the foil. Look at the foil. Look at the end papers. Judy knows how crazy I get. Now this one, I don't know if she noticed this, but this is signed by the author. Right there. Judy, if you want this one back, I'll send this back to you. And this wasn't even really on my radar, but it sounds so good. And this is very high praise, but one of the blurbs on the front cover says, the new Hilary Mantel. This is a quote by Cosmopolitan, right on the top there. So it's starting off pretty good. Two women bound by a child and a secret that will change everything. London, 1754. Love that time period. 6 years after leaving her illegitimate daughter Clara, my daughter's name, at London's Foundling Hospital, Bess Bright returns to reclaim the child she has never known. Dreading the worst, that Clara has died in care, Bess is astonished when she is told that she has already claimed her. Her life is turned upside down as she tries to find out who has taken her little girl and why. Awesome. That is right up my alley. Thank you, Judy. Hope you're having a good time right now. Now, here's my segue. The last book I'm currently reading and that I am almost done with is These Truths by Jill Lepore. I've been reading this for 10 months. This has been a year-long read-along with Karen Evans and a wonderful group of history buffs who have been reading this together, as well as other fiction and nonfiction. And I'm almost done with this very early. And the reason why is I transitioned to listening to this on audio. The book is excellent, and I've got highlights and notes everywhere throughout this nonfiction. This is a book that I will keep. This is a keeper. But I transitioned to audio because I was in my car going to work every day. I'm going in and out of the office every day now, even though I'm only putting in part-time hours. So I've got about 40 minutes in the car every day that I was just sitting there listening to music that I wasn't really enthusiastic about. So I decided to start doing my audiobooks. I have not historically been a fan of audiobooks. I don't really love being read to. And fiction has been difficult for me to listen to on audiobook because I get more when I read fiction off of the page. But nonfiction is awesome for me to listen to. This has been so successful for me because I have been able to train myself to drive while staying aware, but also pick up on the message coming at me from the audio. So what I wanted to do is I took a quick couple of videos of all the audiobooks I now have in the queue ready to go, because I have now changed over to an audiobook fan. When I finish one audio, I pick up another one. And I also have Adam Bede on audio that once in a while I'll pick it up as I'm reading the book when I'm at home at night, because Adam Bede has a lot of Victorian English countryside dialect that it kind of slows me down because I want to make sure I'm understanding it. And when I'm listening to the audio and reading the pages, it makes it a lot clearer. I also have Wolf Hall on audio, and I have two different websites that I utilize for audiobooks. I have Scribd and Chirp. So I'm going to insert a short video right here to show you the audiobooks that I have on Scribd. I forgot to mention that I'm doing a buddy read with Sean, the book maniac, of Thea Astley's A Descant for Gossips. And I have the ebook on Scribd, along with all of this audio that you see. Just different selections that I've wanted to listen to, and things for different month, for different themes, and also things that I just happened to come across, and I thought to myself, that would be good on audio. And I also have several of my buddy reads and read-alongs on audio, purely for convenience sake, in case I want to combine, or if I want to replace or go back and forth, if I want to read a little further. It's just convenience, and it's awesome. Now, I also use a website called Chirp. Chirp is, you can buy whatever you want. It's not a subscription plan. You can buy and download any audiobook. They have a website. I think it's chirpbooks.com. And I'm going to insert another small short video here to show you the audiobooks that I've purchased from them. And for Chirp Books, I am cheap. I like to call it thrifty. So I don't spend a lot on audiobooks. The audiobooks I have in my Chirp library were $4.99 or less. So usually they've been around for a while, or the website has daily deals and that type of thing. Scribd, I didn't say, is $8.99 a month, and I have unlimited access to ebooks and audiobooks as long as they continue with the licensing and they have enough licenses available. So here's a quick video of the audiobooks I have on my Chirp account. So that's been so convenient for me. And I don't listen to audiobooks so I can up the count of the number of books I've read. I don't care about that. I used to. I don't care anymore, because that's kind of compromises not only my enjoyment of reading, but the reason I read. I read because I'm passionate about it. And I listen to audiobooks because I have empty time in my day where I'm in the car and I can't do anything else but drive. It is the perfect situation to listen to audio. And for anybody who commutes, whether it's on public transit or is a passenger, or driving, that's what I'm doing. Anybody who's got a commute going back and forth to work, and at any time, even if you're traveling on an airplane, whatever it is, audiobooks is so convenient to read something that you really want to read but just don't have the access to a physical book. I have learned to really enjoy it, and I do have some novels on there. I don't often go to the novels first when I'm listening to audio. I usually pick up nonfiction, or poetry is awesome for me to listen to on audio. I love hearing the tone and the inflections and that type of thing. So that's it for me for this week. Again, I'm anxious. I'm like, we ordered some bookcases and I'm hoping they're coming today. I'm not sure they're going to. And I think it's around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday for me. I'm still waiting to hear from my husband, who was going to stop by the furniture maker who's making them. And we'll see. So I could show you pictures, but I've got piles of books everywhere, because when we get those delivered, we're putting some of the other bookcases I was using in my daughter's room and getting rid of her really cheesy $30 bookcases that she had in her room. And we actually had some cinder blocks and not plywood, but 2x4s in her room for a little while. And she kind of liked the industrial Home Depot aspect of that. Not anymore. So yeah, I'm waiting for it to transition everything over, and maybe I'll take a picture when that's all done. Write me a comment below. Let me know what you think of any of the books I showed you today. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.